I'm just going to go ahead and start this off with two disclaimers. One, if you're somebody that when somebody's pet dies, you kind of just go, well, it was just a cat, or it was just a bird, or it was just a hamster, this video isn't for you. Okay. I understand that you may not connect to animals the way other people do. It is what it is. But until you have a whole soul that walks around your house and has their own personality just not be there anymore. There's no real way to explain that. Disclaimer two, if you're one of those people that's like, I just don't understand why people get on the internet and cry. I also can't help you. The only way to explain what I'm going through is that one of my best friends just left this earth, and I don't have any other way of showing that grief or anything to prove that they were there besides their caller, their videos, their photos, and it's weird. It's a weird experience. I'll also preface this with I'll be reading from my diary because this is where I go when I'm stressed and I don't know what else to do. My name is Eli. I'm 26. It's my first time having cats. I currently have two. But I had three not too long ago. It was my first time having pets that big. My entire life, I've owned things like guinea pigs and hamsters, and even when they passed away, I cried. There was just a lot of emotions around it, and I thought, when I got older, it wouldn't hurt so much. It was just because I was a kid and whatever. No, mm-mm. Luckily, I'm the type of person that my life has not been grief stricken. I have not had a lot of people that I'm close with die. Let's not test the universe. I'm not asking to find out what that feels like. I'm in absolute despair over a cat I owned for about 8 months. So uh, this is just me expressing my grief. I don't know um, what else to do with it. It's so heavy. Um, And the only way I can really explain how grief feels, at least to me, is I remember the first time I ever went in the ocean, like deep in the ocean without my parents there. I told my parents, I'm going to Virginia Beach, blah, blah, blah. And they said, okay, well, you can't swim. Don't go too deep in the ocean. The current is strong. And I remember thinking, well, whatever, it's water. Well, I got to the beach, went halfway in the water, felt the current go out. It kind of pulled me. I went, ooh, that was strong. And then it came back in and it pushed me. I almost fell over. I got out. I got right out the water because I knew that if I fell over, I wouldn't get back up. It was much, much stronger than me. And that is the only way for me to describe how this grief feels, that I am stuck. I have no choice but to stand in this water. And sometimes the tide comes in and it goes out and it's no problem and I don't tip over. But sometimes the tide, it goes in and I feel myself push back and it pulls me and I have no choice but to go with it and I fall and I cannot get back up. I have no choice but to go with the water, to go with the grief. Um, and that's all I can really say. Um, so yeah, I'm gonna read you guys my diary entry and probably add on to that. And then I'll show you my little creation for my baby. And I'll show you my baby too, of course. So many photos of him. I'm gonna do this in one take. If I stutter, that's just gonna have to be too bad. And I already have tears in my eyes, so we'll see how this goes. It was Monday, July 28th, the day after my cat died. I know I went to my house and I did what I do, where to cope with the horrible things that are happening to me, I joke and I said I just spent $400 to kill my best friend. That was magical. Uh, but it was it was um it was rough, and I couldn't stop thinking about that moment no matter what I did. So I told myself that I just got to write it down. Whatever I'm feeling, I have to write it down, and I'm not gonna judge myself for anything that comes onto this paper. So it was Sunday, July 27th, that my cat actually passed away, and I promised him and myself that I would create love with these tears. I didn't know how, but every time I got upset, I felt my throat choke up, like now, I'd move. Um, my cat's name was, and to me still is, Echo. I got him at 3 months and was blessed with 8 beautiful months with my baby. He was yappy, stubborn, but so sweet. He was, and to me still is, mine. I was, and still am, and will forever be his. The reason I'm doing this is because my baby hated, and I truly mean hated, when I sat and cried. Now his older brother, Louis, my first cat, who I adore just as much, Louis would always run over and comfort me, but Echo, not even a little bit. He would just stare at me, look very annoyed, kind of wander by me, wander away. He looked, I mean, it looked like annoyance, but now that he's gone, I think I recognize that it was much more confusion. Um, and I'm not sure why he did this. But no matter what I was crying about, I could always really see the get up mom in his eyes. You're being dramatic. You need to figure this out. Um, as Echo passed, I held him. Of course, I fully recognize and honor people that can't do that. It was so hard. But the idea of my baby being in a scary place without me was too much. Um, I held him, you know, rubbing his little head and crying and apologizing. And, even in that moment, he looked up at me, exact same look in his eyes. That whole get up, mom, look again. Um, and unfortunately, even after 8 months, it was only in that moment that I realized two things. One, that my Echo was the one facing death, and yet I was the one crying. And two, that look on his face was absolutely annoyance and a little bit of confusion because, unlike me, Echo had no concept of forever. Um, he didn't dream of all the years we would have together, or the birthdays I would throw him, or the holidays we'd have together. He didn't have that like I did. Um, no, he lived as you're supposed to, day by day, loving his food, loving his toys, his siblings, cuddles, loving me. And so, why would we ever need forever when we had right now? I didn't need to cry because me and him had all the time we had ever needed. Forever is not promised, tomorrow isn't, but right now, well, that's the only thing you'll ever have, is right now. So I sucked it up. I sucked up the sniffles because unlike professionals, I can't sing and cry at the same thing. And one thing me and Echo would always do, and what we did a few nights before he passed, is that I would lay him on my chest, um, and I would hum, and so he could feel the vibrations from me humming, and he would purr, so I could feel his vibrations. Um, and you know, he purred and he purred, and Echo had been sick for just a little while. He declined so fast I felt like there was nothing I really could do. But the night before, and even as the doctor was pushing his two final meds, he purred. And my baby, he purred and purred and purred until he wasn't here anymore to purr. And so, you know, I as awful as a moment as it was, I am so beyond proud of myself that I was strong enough to suck that up, to give him that final moment that I knew he needed. Um, and, you know, I personally don't believe in any higher power. I am very honest. I'm a very honest person. And I'll admit that I very honestly have no clue um, what's on the other side, if it's anything at all. So while I know me and a lot of other people like to think that one day we'll go, and wherever we go to, the first thing we'll see is our babies waiting for us. I don't know if me and Uncle will meet again in some bright grassy field. Um, I don't know if me and him will be reincarnated again. I don't know if our souls are intertwined. I don't know. All I know is that I have right now, and all I know is that I'm not an artist. I am not a singer. I am not I'm not somebody who writes poetry. All I am right now in this moment is a broken-hearted girl. And so here's my lullaby about what my soulmate taught me. This ending wasn't my idea, but I have never been an idealist. And they say time's a thief, but she has only always given. Goodbye is not fault. It's just the way the stars are written. And if it's not forever, if it's not even tomorrow, I'll make the best of today to help heal all the sorrow. Baby, when I'm dead and gone, as a time, a speck of dust, this earth will still howl an echo of our love. Are you good now? No? Okay. You know, if I didn't love you, if I did not love you, literally making biscuits with your nails on my face. Ouch. No, I'm not giving you kisses right now. No kisses. I love you though. Just rest. You don't have to be dramatic. Just rest.